Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Commentary. Let's kick things off. Let's just jump into this past weekend. Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather. My reactions, my thoughts. First and foremost, I think the only prop bet that we got right came from producer Alex. She said that Logan Paul was going to walk out with a hood on, and he did. Now, Floyd Mayweather, he almost threw us a curveball. He wore a mask and a hat. He didn't wear the hoodie, which she was on point with that. Other than that, though, there was no knockdowns. There was nothing crazy. You know what? Before I even get to the Floyd and Logan, I'm going to say I was impressed with Chad Ochocinco Johnson. He actually I'm disappointed in his corner, but I'm impressed with Chad Ochocinco. At the age of 43, he hung in there. He did get knocked down once, but I will say he definitely had a puncher's chance. That jab, he's got a quick jab. He moved around quite well, although I did feel like sometimes he did run away, but he did a great job. It didn't disappoint. Now, I was actually entertained throughout this whole event. Now, moving up to the main event, Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. It's crazy. It's baffling. It blows my mind to look at these comments where people are talking about Logan Paul didn't get knocked out, and they're like surprised, and they're wondering I learned a lot about Logan Paul. I will say I was one of those people that I was kind of hoping that Floyd was going to give him the business, but at the end of it all, I ended up respecting Logan Paul more. And I'm going to tell you why. This is his second fight boxing, but you could tell he took it very serious. You could tell his trainers and everybody had him prepped. He was looking pretty good moving around the ring, and he landed some shots. But not only that, he just held his own. It wasn't just like a slaughter beatdown. And understanding Floyd Mayweather, if you've never boxed, if you've never gotten to the ring and fought someone, understanding the height differential, the length, all these things matter, right? And Floyd Mayweather being 43, I thought, it was a great match, right? They went the distance, which I didn't think it would go the distance because the hype, and I'm thinking, wow, like all the back and forth banter. I'm thinking just like, wow, maybe if like Floyd might take this super serious, but at the end of watching it just transpire, right? I'm looking at it, and even though Floyd's trying to get in there, the length of Logan Paul, the little experience that he learned, he was using it, maximizing it. And to be honest, he looked better than a lot of the other fighters that I saw that night. I was truly impressed with Logan Paul. Hats off to him. And even though Floyd was more precise with his shots, which is to be expected, it's Floyd Mayweather, when you look at it, it was still a win for Logan Paul because he got in their ring with one of the best to ever do it. And he hung around. He survived, right? And so hats off to him, man. I mean, respect. And you could tell at the end when commentators was asking the question to Floyd, how did you enjoy it? Floyd, I think Floyd at the end of the match, he respected Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul showed him more heart than what he was expecting. I was entertained. There was no knockdowns. Now, I will say this, that Woodley and Jake Paul fight, I expect that to be a totally different situation. I'm really excited about that fight. And we're going to talk about that more when it gets closer to it. But that Jake Paul Woodley fight, I think that's going to be a knockout. Someone's going to get knocked down for sure in that one. But the Logan Paul Mayweather for me didn't disappoint. What did disappoint though? Let's move to the NBA. Last night, I was watching the Nets and the Bucks. And I'm going to tell you, this series, I was expecting some fight. I'm like, okay, the Bucks completely swept the Heat. And now, they have a chance. They're one of the teams in the East I expect to give a fight to the Nets. And the Nets, without James Harden, it looks like they're just taking the spirit out of that team. Just looking at last night's game alone with James Harden on the sideline dressed in regular civilian clothes, the Bucks, I don't want to say they should stop shooting threes. And I agree with Charles Barkley. You got to change your game plan. And looking at Giannis, I want him to, when Giannis shoots, I know that he can shoot the three, right? Occasionally when he's wide open, but I don't want him trying to pull it as his first option. I want his first option, his best option is getting both feet in the paint. If both feet aren't in the paint, Let Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton work the outside. Let them figure it out. But he should be slashing and trying to score with Lopez in the inside. That's where he's most effective. The Bucks last night shot from behind the arc. They shot 8 of 27. They were 29% behind the three-point line. It wasn't working. It was a sleeper fest as the Nets, they shot 21 of 42 behind the three-point line. They were 50% behind the three-point line. And the usual suspects, Kevin Durant with 32 points, Kyrie Irving with 22 points, and then the supporting cast just did not let down. The movement, the ball movement, it was beautiful to watch. Honestly, at this point, I think I got the Nets in like 6, probably 5. Honestly, 5. If we think about it, like I think they're going to steal one. I think they're going to steal one in Milwaukee. It's just the mental. It's just, I don't even, how many, 125 to 86 was the score. That's a mental toughness that it's going to be hard to get over that hump, knowing you lost that bad to a team that is Blake Griffin. Can't we talk about the putback dunk? Blake Griffin is playing like, yo, Blake Griffin won a ring. You could tell he's jumping on the floor, putting his body on the ground for the hustle plays, the 50-50 balls. The Nets are winning. There was a play where Giannis was going for a rebound, and then you had a guard who's like 6'4", 6'6", out rebounding Giannis. You got to want that. And I just don't see it. I don't see that hunger like I do with the Nets. So the Nets is going to be a problem. We all knew that, though. But we all was excited about this to see if it was going to be a challenge. And clearly right now it's not looking like that. And just moving to the next team, the Suns, right? I expect the Suns and the Nuggets to be a more closely better matchup, right? But if you can comment and tell me if I'm wrong, but I just have a sneaky suspicion, and I'm rooting for them. I think the Suns are going to make it to the finals. I mean, yes, I know that, there's still a lot of basketball to be played, but I think the Suns are going to get it done against the Nuggets. And I think that they can probably get it done against the Jazz as well. And I don't know, the Clippers, you never know what you're going to get with the Clippers. The Clippers is a mixed bag of nuts. But I am impressed with this Suns roster and Chris Paul and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and Bridges. Like, they got a lot of young, hungry boys who's ready to go get it. And I would not be shocked if the Suns were in the finals against the Nets. I still got the Nets winning it all because, well, it's the Nets. But, man, I am impressed with the Suns. And last but not least, let's hop over to the NFL. And I know you see the hat behind me. There's a Saints hat right there. I'm not here just to bash the Falcons, and we will talk about in the future. I don't feel like talking about it right now because I need to still let it simmer and let it develop. Who won the deal? And you can let me know in the comments in your thoughts. Who won the deal? Was it the Titans or was it the Falcons? And I'm in Atlanta, right? I live in Atlanta and I've been here for at least 10 years now. And all the Falcons fans, I'm a realistic person, right? And I've said for a long time that they needed to trade Julio and they needed to get rid of Matt Ryan. We'll talk about that in the future though, because I'm dead set. I love watching sports. I love the camaraderie. I love the competition. But I'm just looking at the Falcons like, what are you doing with your organization? Figure it out. Figure out the route and what do you want to do? It's been frustrating. I'm not even a Falcons fan. I got a random family member who's a Falcons fan to be fair, his mom's a Dallas Cowboys fan. That whole family's weird. All of us are Saints fans, except for them two. But again, what are you doing with your organization, Falcons? But I digress. I look at the Titans and think, how much of an impact will Julio make with the Titans? And I'm thinking to myself, while Julio could be an impactful player at the age of 32, suffering injuries that he has, he could, if he stays out on the field long enough, you're still going to be a running team with Derrick Henry. He's a beast. Derrick Henry you're still going to be a run first team, right? But I look at the quarterbacking position, and while Ryan Tannehill has been serviceable, I look at the rest of the AFC, and even this year, I got them at 10-7. I think they're going to lose 7 games. Look at their schedule. Look at who they play. And I'm just going to do a quick overview. looking at some of the matchups I think they could possibly lose to. And actually the first 2 weeks I could think they can possibly go 0-2, because you don't know that Arizona Cardinals, which is the first week 1, Arizona Cardinals could win that game. That's a very winnable game against the Titans. Who knows how Murray's going to show up, and that team's going to show out. Who knows? Then week 2, the Seahawks. That's going to be a tough one, and it's at Seattle. So I'm looking at that one as a loss. I think they're going to beat the Colts. Of course, I think they're going to beat the Jets. I think they're going to beat the Jaguars, but then they're going to run into Buffalo. And while that game is at home, it's still Buffalo. And that's not your old team. Buffalo is a new beast. And then the following week is Kansas City. I don't care if it's in your home or in anybody else's home. Patrick Mahomes is coming with it. So I think they're going to lose that one. And then they play Indy again. I think they're going to possibly clean sweep Indy. And I think they're going to beat the Rams. The Saints, I'd hate to be biased, but Sean Payton that's a 50-50 game. But of course, I'm going to go with the Saints on that one, because why Sean Payton? I feel like he's going to have a game plan for it. They're going to win against the Houston Texans. New England Patriots, I haven't beaten the Patriots, but who knows how the Patriots will be in week 12. Of course, Jacksonville Jaguars, they're going to beat them, I feel. The Pittsburgh Steelers, though, that's a game I got Pittsburgh winning. It could be a close one, but I got Pittsburgh winning it. I got San Francisco the following week 16, beating the Titans. I think they're going to beat Miami, and of course they're going to beat Houston. So I think right there, that's about 7 games I think I called. And again, this is where you have 7. It's going to be the 17 games that they're doing for the NFL. So who knows if Julio stays healthy? Hopefully you get no injuries in this situation, but in a division where you got to worry about the Chiefs and you have to worry about don't sleep on the Raiders. You still got Baltimore Ravens in there, the Cleveland Browns. You're going to have to win. You're going to have to win. And hopefully 10-7, in my opinion, hopefully that's enough. But who knows? Who knows? What are your thoughts, though? What are your thoughts? Do you like the chances of the Titans? Do you think they're gonna win more games? Tell me if there's a team that I called out that I said they were going to lose against, and you tell me why you think I'm wrong. I would love to hear it. We could talk about it. Let's debate it. All right. Until then, though, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. I appreciate you for rocking with me. I appreciate you for listening, watching, and all that good stuff. And until next time, you know what it is. Be blessed. Peace.